Up next, on the referendum question, should corporate Bahamas be mandated to pay salaries equivalent to our U.S. counterparts? Happy voting. It's almost ironically poetic that we decided to talk about laboring on Emancipation Day. I mean, this should be considered a sin, honestly. Truth be told, we have some things to say. When we think about everything that our elders told us to do, go to school, work hard, get a good job, and we'd be fine, right? I guess. But it seems after all this time, the only thing we've been met with are archaic infrastructures, insultingly low salaries, and folks that should have retired at least 20 years ago. Now, some of us are getting by, and I do mean getting by, but majority of the workforce isn't having a good time. The Gapseed Room is chatting about all the woes of working in corporate Bahamas. This is episode 4. It's giving ghetto. Before we get into it, we gotta find it first. We're talking about the job hunt.
Oh, it's just as bad as dating. It sucks.
Garbage. Realistically, you won't get a job right away unless it depends on who you know and who willing to say they know you.
I highly disagree with that.
It's rough out there in that street, boy. It's rough.
There's no such thing as a job hunt in the Bahamas. It's who you know, and then if they need somebody.
Some people do try to do it the right way because they genuinely don't have no connections. And it's sad because if you go for a job that you're very qualified for, have the experience for, and Susie come with half your experience and half your qualifications, but she know the boss, Susie get the job.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I feel as though looking for a job in the Bahamas ultimately is solely on who you know. Like saying I'm going to go to the website and apply for this job or go to the job fair and see if I could have an interview. No.
The job one over here, I feel like it's pretty because I feel like over here, everyone know it's really who you know what you know. You know what I mean? So I feel like if you don't really know someone, then the job hunt is the worst process ever. Ever. And the thing is, you could be more than qualified to do this, but they'd really never know because they want you to have 50,000 years of experience and they know you just come out of school last year. So how'd that work?
Bahamians are lazy. If you want a job, you could walk out on that main road right now and somebody hiring. But everybody don't want flip parties. Everybody don't want drop fries. Everybody don't want mixed concrete.
But at the end of the day,
it's a job to do everywhere, bro. It's up to you whether you want to do that job or not. It's always something to do. Me right now, I have my main job and I selling bait, bro.
But that's the problem though. You calling off all these jobs. Mm-hmm. But for a lot of Bahamians, the job that willing to give that right then and there is not enough.
Like what?
Flipping parties. How you can flip parties when a 1-bedroom costs $750 and you're only making $225 a week?
Where you going to move into this 1-bedroom for $750, bro?
Well, mother. Do you not know what the price of living in Nassau is?
It's a who's who. It's a who's who.
Who you know.
It's who you know.
It's definitely all about who you know. At this point, it's I don't care if you have 3,000 degrees. If you don't know who that human resource manager is,
you definitely have to know the people. Definitely know the who's who
I feel like
in different industries. I think you have to prepare yourself in those different things, but it isn't as easy as hopping on LinkedIn or Indeed.com.
I haven't looked for a job in 6 years, but I've interviewed people over the last couple of years, and I understand the job hunt is extremely stressful. I think I sent 50 applications before I found my job, and some people didn't even respond. And when I got my job, one of the guys who didn't respond was one of the guys who worked there. And I did walk into his office and say, "You remember me?"
That it's hard. I mean, it's challenging. I know some people who've done 5-6 interviews with a company only to have then heard that their position was taken by a foreigner who's never interviewed with them at all. the salary brackets are usually people's chief complaint. Like a lot of people just take work because they have to make money, not because they're satisfied with what they're being compensated by.
To be honest, I don't know. I cannot relate, because to be honest with you, this is the first job I ever had. I only been there like 5 years. This the first job I ever had. I was working for myself, so I never really. When I was in college, I was working for myself, and then when I came out of college, I continued working for myself. And then it just so happened that I landed on this job. So I never really had to hunt per se. I was never looking for a job because I never liked people to tell me what to do. When I want to hop on a plane, I want to get up and hop on a plane. I want to ask you for time off.
For my safety, where I can live. Let me ask you. Okay. You rent a room in somebody's house. You can spend less than $750, but the borderline cost of a 1-bedroom apartment is $725 a month. Dime for us and us. This ain't like the States where you gotta be making 2 to 3 months more a month than the rent. No, you gotta pay first, last, security. Mm-hmm. That's not including utilities. Mm-hmm. That's not including, say you need transportation. That's not including groceries. Mm-hmm. That's not including furniture. If you need to buy furniture, you have a child, okay, that's a whole nother expense. The cost of living in Nassau is way more than what the average job is willing to offer.
We all know someone who have someone in a high position who on this job, oh, I know so-and-so in HR. Give me your name and I can send it to him and he can pull you through or she can pull you through. Whereas you who just sitting there as nobody, who don't have no connection, just hoping they call you because you ain't been working for a while, looked over because of someone who have a connection.
Yeah, and then that's the next thing. If someone come in and they're demanding a nice salary, they can be efficient and they're confident of their role, and the company feel like someone coming behind them offering to do the same, overselling and asking for half of the salary, they're going to go with the person that is asking for least amount of money.
Who coming in here to do half the work they say?
I feel like a lot of these organizations and companies are just looking for people to get the job done and not looking to build a team and to respect a
and I know from experience, like, before I even went into, like, my career, like, I was pretending to want an office job and, like, searching for them. And really, the only way I got into, like, HR is because I knew someone. Not that I wasn't qualified. This is because I knew someone. So, y'all need to work on that. And, like, and y'all people who empower and, like, have the power to change this up, do something about that, because... y'all know y'all just be asking for all these things. It ain't really required most of the time. Like, they just want a master's degree to file. Come on, bro.
I think it's like a 1% chance that you would get hired off of LinkedIn or like. I think it's like a 1% chance that somebody would actually see your resume and say, okay, let's hire.
I think
maybe 2%.
LinkedIn provides you the opportunity to
be 5%.
Like, I think that offers you the opportunity to be headhunted in comparison to applying for a job.
Maybe.
Because people can already type in your name, people can see what industry you're in and go from there.
Yeah, maybe, but it's a who you know job.
But it's the pits.
It is.
It's a tough market right now. I mean, unless you're in those white collar professions, things ain't the 1990s. And I was a child in the 90s, so I don't say that with any work experience, but you understand the sentiment behind the quote. Like, it's hard out there.
Say I get let off from my job, right? And I can only find a job working to a gas station or a fast food restaurant. I make a minimum wage, and I gotta live on my own. God forbid something happen to my family, and I gotta live on my own. Where I can find an efficiency? Where I can find something to affordable live? That's my problem with it. The opportunity versus the demand versus the supply in Nassau. And really and truly, most of the Bahamas, but I just want to focus on Nassau. It don't add up. The math ain't mathin'.
All right, so we got the job. What that pay saying though? Let's dig into wages.
Where wages are? Talking in general or minimum wage? Because I love to call people broke on Twitter.
The price of living too high.
going back to that,
The price of living is too high. Why is a gallon of gas more than what the minimum wage is?
Fox.
I mean, the lack of.
We don't make no money. The wages here don't make sense. The wages, it's like, I can't describe how much it doesn't make sense, mainly because you see what is being brought into the country, but you're not seeing what's being given back to the people that working for all this money.
I feel like a lot of people are not paid fairly, to be honest. I feel like a lot of people could be making more, but where, like, people so like to, like, talk about, like, people who own companies and I know this just from hearing, like, people who own companies and like, they talk about, oh, the cost of running the company and all that. But yeah, but, like, you have, like, loosely $250,000 to buy a boat. So why you can't pay your people more? Let's talk about that.
Did I not tell you? I need Sydney to tell me how I should. Anyhow. What about it? Up, down, it needs to increase. What? I need to be paid more. I know that. That's all I know about wages.
They're unfair.
They
unbalanced.
are the pets. The pets is what they are. Truthfully.
They expect people to live a
Truthfully.
holistic life off of 19,000, 20,000, or even crumbs in comparison to if you are a director. Or
Plug in again.
Redacted.
and that's with a bachelor's degree.
Redacted.
No, we only is be making $20,000 and $22,000 a year, and you would charge me $6 for air.
He may not have the degree, so that's how come he can charge this.
Redacted.
You ain't going to heaven. I'm sorry.
That's how he's making.
Redacted.
Wait, let me tell you something.
Redacted.
I ain't gonna make it.
Everything, and you all notice the minute minimum wage went up, everything else going up.
Everything else been up.
The lack of salaries is all I got. It's lacking thoroughly. And there are companies here that can afford to pay Bahamians what they should be paid, but they prefer to bring in expats and pay them double and triple what they would pay the Bahamian person.
We should all be paid more. Maybe not all of us, but the people at the lowest level should be paid more. I think. I mean, a rising tide lifts all ships, right? So, if the people at the bottom can go from what the hell is minimum wage now? Like $6.10, $5.25? I can't even remember. Like honestly.
$260 a week.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So. Whatever it works out to, I can't remember off the top of my head, but increase that. Find a way. You can find money to do other things, and I mean, I understand even government's pockets are not like infinite, but you can find a way to borrow $200 million for this, $150 million for that. Borrow some money and put that aside just to make sure you could cover salaries for X amount of time, and watch the effects that will flow from people at the lowest socioeconomic levels being able to make more money. They'll in turn spend more money, and just got to set the stage for that to continue. That's a completely neoliberal idea, and I don't want that person who called me a neoliberal on Twitter to while out for me saying that, so I might as well get ahead of that curve.
They need to be higher. They absolutely need to be higher. This minimum wage thing ain't gonna work. Y'all want to charge $11 for eggs, but only want to pay me what, $2.10 before NIB a week? No man, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Why eggs can't be free? All this chicken heads we got running around here, why eggs can't be free?
See, I feel the same. I feel like even when you bring in these expats who making 3 times the salary, they still gotta sit on the job for 3 months to be trained by someone who makes 70% less than them.
Precisely.
And they could have done the same thing. I don't think that we're close to where we need to be in terms of respecting and honoring salaries.
Yep.
And it's now showing. I feel like even after COVID now, people are reconsidering working and just working for themselves. I think this is an all-time high for millennials who now are just opting out either just for their peace of mind or to pursue something that they like, even if it don't add up to what they want to do.
Like when you see all the cruise ships in, the hotels are completely at full occupancy.
Redacted. Redacted. Redacted.
whatever other hotel on this small island. When they at full occupancy, it's flourishing. Tourism is thriving. And the Bahamian people working to make sure that tourism thrives. But we ain't getting back that overhead.
I think that there are some wages that are fair and also some wages that are very high, considering what people do. And then I think minimum wage is way too low because the cost of living in the Bahamas is far too high. You can't live on your own on minimum wage in the Bahamas, but that's not exclusive to us. Many places, if you on minimum wage, better have a roommate or a spouse, and I don't think it should be that way.
Like, our people are being robbed. Like, we look at persons who work in the hotel in particular, your little paycheck, well, I can't say little paycheck, there's plenty of people in the hotel like making some serious money. But what these people really paying for the service, we ain't getting back.
It's hard enough to find a job, but do you think we can have careers here?
Oh, definitely. Depends on the career, type of career you want to do.
I think so. And again, it does depend on what your career is. And
you could be a professional sweetheart. You never know.
A professional
I think you'd be a flourishing one too.
Sweetheart.
Yes.
I think the mass majority think they have careers, but they just have jobs. We all really just have jobs. Like, I don't care how much school you went to get whatever degree. You see yourself like working in the hotel in particular, and you in upper management, you's an assistant VP or assistant director. You dedicate your life to this job and somebody else's dream. You thinking that's your career? No, you just on a job.
You could work business, you could work bank, you could work accounts, you could work construction. Yeah, that's fine. But it also depends on who's your employer, which company you work for, and what's your direction with where you work. As unfortunate as it sounds, there's only certain people that pay you enough in this country where you could make a living, where you're actually content and happy and you could afford everything that you do. Otherwise, you're just working paycheck to paycheck or every other paycheck to paycheck.
You know what? Because of my career, I could say yes. You know, I work on the waters, so like, for me, yeah. I guess for people in maybe banking, possibly, sure, yeah. But like, other people, I don't really know.
I feel like it depends on the industry and the kind of connections that you have, the relationships, the management that you're working under. Because boy, oh boy, could management play a big role in discouraging people and make you want to leave things that you were passionate about, you know? I feel like people, like they say your gifts will make room for you. I feel like there are people that are walking away from things that they were literally born to do because they can't do it under certain people. Like they can't work underneath certain people. So they rather just settle in doing something else until they could essentially do better on their own.
Depends on the avenue that you choose. The answer is yes. I mean, I might be a bit of an idealist, but you can have a career in anything that you want, but don't confuse a career with what will be supported by people, because a lot of people go in it for the glory, not realizing that, you know, you can have a career as something that's kind of few and far between. Like you can be a filmmaker, for example. You can be a rapper, a poet, but you're not gonna necessarily, you know, see the kind of wealth that a Morgan Freeman might accrue if you're only doing it in the Bahamas. You know, you're not gonna. Let me not say not. That sounds limiting. It's going to be harder. Your journey's going to be much more difficult than, you know, if you become a lawyer, accountant, economist, something of that nature. So you can have a career, absolutely, but be prepared for what comes with that when you make whatever your career choice is.
But how much that is paid? How much that is paid?
You gotta demand the price.
Yeah, but
You-
the
you-
price and pricing.
And the price will never be the same from Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday.
The pricing. But see, that's not the only factor here. You got to factor in the people with paying.
Very much so. I've been at the same company for 6 years, and I've been able to grow from a temp to a manager. So I think it's rather realistic.
You can't be sweetheart to bob them at the local bar.
Oh no, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely not. You need to like Sandilla or like, you know,
Yeah, but
you want like a dope boy.
But what the price is? What the price is? What y'all paying?
You gotta ask for it. I'm like well, I've heard people are like,
It's too late.
are like, 50K a week. Or tuition type of people. You can bring in an import a car.
I don't know. I know.
Yeah, based by the asks.
I know.
The asks.
I sure.
Yeah.
Fairly, no. I don't think the opportunity is there. I feel like in order to pursue a career, you have to put on your big boy pants and hustle to do something that shouldn't have to work you that hard. If you obtain the skills and you have the passion and you're able to deliver, I think that should justify your position in doing so. But it's hard, man. You got to be resourceful. It's who you know, how much you can bother them to get the job, and what you willing to do to keep the job. You know, like in these places we talk about salaries, these places aren't paying you what you deserve. You know, we're far from what the States is doing. So I don't think it's successful or true or easy to go about having a career in the Bahamas. I think it's for those who really, really want it and willing to make a push.
You can. You definitely can. Of course, the biggest careers here are in tourism and banking. But there are other jobs that you could find careers in. You may need to seek further development elsewhere, or you may need to go elsewhere and come back in order to be seen as valuable. We all know how that goes. But I definitely believe that you could seek careers here. You could seek careers anywhere. It's just about what type of career is that, and if it's something that's not as popular here, do you want to take the time and put in that work to make it bloom, make that market bloom, and make that market a thing? But definitely, there are careers everywhere. Some are just harder than others.
I think it's time for a little side quest. Let's see what Drew's been up to.
I don't think you can exist in Nassau without a side hustle. If you have one job in the Bahamas and you're living, you're a boss. You're a CFO, you're a CEO, you're something. And I'm 41, every single person I know has a side hustle. If you don't have a side hustle right now, I don't know what to do. As a matter of fact, I'm on someone's side hustle as we speak. Like, this show is a side hustle. Like, everything we do is to try and make money on the side to figure our shit out because our government's ain't shit and they're not paying us nearly enough. So it is what it is. You have to have a side hustle. The only problem with side hustles is payment. You're fighting to get the money on time. You know, you don't want to ask for that check. You don't want to ask for that cash. But low key, when the voice note on something like, "Hi, hey, how you doing, man? I really appreciate the opportunity. Appreciate doing it for you. Haven't seen my money yet. My light's off, my water's off, my arm is broken. Would love to get that $200 from you so I can, buy food and ramen. But as soon as you have it, let me know. God bless. Go to my 9 to 5 to not make the money that should have afforded me those other things." I love when a coworker shows up on time. Actually, I love when a coworker shows up. As y'all see, I'm alone. So coworkers, I think, are rated. I love a coworker. Shout out to Amanda. Shout out to Cosmo. Shout out to Melody. Shout out to Mo. Shout out to everyone. I love my coworkers. I feel like coworkers get you through the day. We miss JD. We wish JD was still back in the station. Not you.
Redacted.
I love my coworkers because all of us have kind of agreed it's bullshit. We kind of get to the bullshit in major ways. And, you know, if you're not the ace in the hole, then you're not the ace in the hole. But, yeah, I love my coworkers. I have no complaints. Meetings are dumb. Let me be very clear. Oh, I take this seriously. Let me be very clear. If you're the one motherfucker in the meeting that has a question at the end of the meeting, kill yourself. I hate you with the entirety of my being. There's no one I hate more than when the meeting is done and they're like, any questions? Well, I just feel like you. However, I love post meetings. There's nothing better than a meeting after a meeting. I love when like the meeting's done and then we all gather along to be like, so you know that's full of shit, right? You believe him? I mean, y'all really feel like he. I love that. Because then we get to tell our truth. And then we get to hit our boss as a collective. So no, I love a post meeting. I hate a meeting though. Meetings are dumb. Love HR. Love HR. I have actively been trying to have sex with every HR person I've ever worked with. I love job security. So shout out to HR. I feel like HR women are very underrated. Not men. If you are a man in HR, I'm just assuming you're gay. But I love women in HR. You know why? Because I love that like text of security where you're like, I got you. Your pay is gonna be on time. There's a complaint made about you about sexual harassment. Don't worry about it. I'll cover that up. God bless you. I'll do God's work. Really appreciate you. Go on.
Okay, I think that's enough of that. Let's get into the nitty gritty. What really grinds your gears about corporate Bahamas?
The lack of compensation, the lack of benefits, the lack of management competence, the lack of respect for employees.
Look, there's a certain group of people of a certain age that don't believe in upward mobility and promotion for juniors, and I mean juniors across any career, profession, what have you, right? And it's the ones that will sit there and not give you the opportunities that either they know that you're ready for or that you know that you're ready for. And they sort of pigeonhole you. Like that happens a lot. I hear people complain about that all the time. They pigeonhole you and you end up with all these weird, not even glass, concrete ceilings over you. And then you just don't get anywhere. And that depreciates your talent. It just causes you to lose the enjoyment of what it is that you're into, because I mean, everybody wants to progress. You don't want to be in the same stage and same phase forever. That's pointless. So yeah, that happens a lot.
You could finish doing your work for the day by 11 o'clock, but if you don't make yourself look like you're doing something, they have a problem with it.
You ain't doing enough.
I finished 8 hours of work, miraculously
in 3 hours.
In 3 hours. But because I just chilling, because I finished my work,
you don't got nothing else to do?
I got nothing else to do. Y'all ain't assigned nothing else to me, but y'all have a problem with the fact that I free. I still on the job, but y'all don't like the fact that I ain't click.
I don't like how they always want to see what you doing. Like, if you don't look busy 24/7, they feel like you ain't doing nothing. Like, it ain't my fault you take 6, 7, 8, 10 hours to do one thing. Maybe I do this my work because I want to sit up here and I want to scroll on Fashion File and shop for a bag. That's why I can hurry up do my work, because I want shop. I want shop away my salary. Now, if you want to sit up there and stare at one computer screen and one piece of paper for 10 hours and fall out, then that's on you, but I ain't got nothing to do with me. So I hate that. I really hate that.
Everything. Is that sufficient? Just about all of it. Yes. let's start from the beginning, and we get a little bit to the middle.
Yeah.
And if we just swoosh it on to the end,
Swooshy.
I think that'll cover it. That covers it for sure.
They sell a dream. They sell this big, magnificent dream that, hey, everybody can be a part of this, when we all know everyone can. And that's how they design it. So.
My biggest thing about it is asking for someone to do more than what they getting paid for.
That as well. Oh God, certain company job.
I don't mind helping. Helping is not a problem. But when you come to me every single day and you trying to add this into my job description, and now you getting mad at me because I'm telling you no, I don't get paid for that. There's nothing wrong with helping once or twice, but if you're not paying to do this specific job, which you already hired somebody to do, you could do two things. You could either make their job redundant and hire me in that position and give me more, or let them continue to do the bare minimum and let me do what I was doing, and your work never gets finished. Your choice.
Corporate Bahamas. That's it. Period. I think we needed a corporate Bahamas separate and aside from government, simply because it just shows you that you could actually make more money. That's about it. I think they can do more in our schools, in our communities, than they have been doing. And that's just my personal opinion.
Honestly, my biggest pet peeve is the delusion of that people are not people, rather than and that people come in different forms and facets and even different expertise and different perspectives. I think it's not having the space or the illusion of saying this is a safe space, but really, we don't want you wearing that around here. We don't want you saying that because we still have an image as a company.
Exactly.
I think it's the double standard of what they want to be and what they actually are.
More people and more companies need to give people the option to work remotely, because I'm sick of traffic. Gladstone Road is ridiculous. Aquinas needs to move now. Put it somewhere else.
What I also noticed in corporate Bahamas is that they had fired somebody in a department that you work in. Have you do their job as well as your job,
CMP.
but you get the same pay. They ain't hire nobody else.
They
So it ain't like they ain't got the money to allocate towards your pay. They just feel like, oh, okay, this jack working in accounts department.
Save you on the whole salary.
Yeah. You can't even give them half the other person's salary. They'd be like, we give you
Not even
your
not
regular
even a
salary.
smidge, not even
you get
a
more
smidge.
work. You do it.
CMP, more work, CMP.
Companies here could work on in terms of keeping employees happy, and in terms of retaining employees, in terms of getting employees to put their best foot forward and give their all. Like if you treat employees a certain way, you can get a certain amount of work back. Like, I'm only gonna be as productive as what you're compensating me for and what you're treating me like. If you make me feel like I'm unappreciated, unvalued, like at any moment, at the drop of a hat, I could be out of here, then I'm just going to work from day to day, like, because any day now, I can be gone. Why am I gonna plant my roots into the company and give you all my ideas, like, go above and beyond if it's never recognized, the company doesn't do anything to reciprocate it? Like, that ain't fair. And a lot of companies here fail to realize that. They rather shuffle in, shuffle out, go through the whole stress of having to interview over and over and over and over and over, rather than fix the issue.
They're too big. I think that no company should go over 150 people, That's the size of a hunter-gatherer tribe, right? I think once you get past 150, it's hard to keep control. The environment is going to start to become toxic. Like, there's a breakdown. It's too big. It's too big a machine. So, like, And why you want to have a big company so you could monopolize inside this small country? That don't make no sense.
And I can't even say it's a double standard some places, because in some places, like literally they tell you what you wearing matters more than what you do wear. Can you imagine?
Can you?
Can't you imagine? I come to work and they tell me, I don't really care about what you do, but why you have on these tight pants?
Can you imagine them telling me that my hair is unprofessional, but I look like my ancestors?
But I have 3 degrees.
I'm giving you Beyonce when she went through her African spell.
And I do my work very well.
Information.
In fact, I do my work and yours. But just because my hair just too long, or the different color.
Yeah.
And just because my pants just a little snug.
Well, my tattoos show just how many gangs I've been in.
Once again.
I'm a boss.
Once again, everything.
Yeah, I think a lot of companies are oblivious to what goes on within the organization. I feel like, people make the organization what it is. Like, just how we have customer care for clients, we need someone to care about the people that work in the establishment. If you care what the people, some people can get, job offers that are way more, but they just love where they're at. They're not gonna move, Comfortability.
But mentorship, man, oh man. There ain't too much of that in the places where it needs to be, and that is really important. People would always rather throw you in the deep end and see if you drown than put you in the boat and teach you how to scuttle. You feel me? You quote me on that one.
I hate corporate Bahamas on the whole because the ideals that they have down there, it's just absolutely outdated and ridiculous. And I think corporate Bahamas is really for people who hire, who like to micromanage and who force these ideas down your throat. I feel like they don't have no power in their house. They don't have nothing to do. They don't have no life. They don't have no mind. They don't have no children. They don't have nothing to look forward to in life. So they come to work and try and make people's life a living hell. They want control over that because they don't have no control over their life. So that's how I feel about it. That's why, child, I can never survive in no corporate Bahamas, child. It's one thing with me. If I don't like something, I can tell you. I can tell you if you're a worthless piece of shit on this job and you just mad because I am talented and I am productive and I don't do what you do and you just hot. You just mad. That's all. And you too watch people stop watching on the job. Watch your work. Watch your own performance. Leave me alone.
I know it's a laundry list of complaints, and it doesn't help that there's a conspiracy theory that millennials don't want to work. But it's not that. It's about us enjoying what we do, finding a sense of purpose behind what we bust our gill for every day. And of course, a decent salary, one that we can make a comfortable life with. Some Bahamian employers have been using the fact that the economy is in a perpetual state of chaos to take advantage of and abuse the blood of its company. More and more Bahamians are waking up. The side hustles are turning into the main hustles, and we all plan on being better bosses than those before us. Love, the Gap Seat Room.